Today, I'm gonna show you how to make blanched asparagus, boiled artichokes, and a quick hollandaise sauce. These dishes can be served as an appetizer or a side dish to any meal, and honestly, the artichoke could be a meal in and of itself. This is all about seasonal vegetables and how to serve them in a way that is beautiful, interesting, and delicious. First, we're gonna prep and cook the vegetables. Then I'm gonna show you how to make a really quick hollandaise sauce. You can really blanch any kinds of vegetables. I like to blanch green beans or fennel, broccoli, cauliflower, all of those will work. Asparagus, though, is one of the best representations of the technique of blanching. Asparagus is really interesting. They're tender and crisp all throughout, except at the end of their stem, particularly where it starts to become purple, they get woody in texture down at that bottom. So the trick is in figuring out where to make the cut. You take one of the asparagus and bend it like so, and where it snaps is where you cut them. So right here, I'm gonna cut off the bottoms. I've removed all of the tough woody parts of the asparagus, and so I'm left with just the super tender portion. Now it's time to blanch them. Blanching is a two-step process. It starts with a pot of boiling water, and I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of salt. And then the second step is shocking it. It's called shocking because it's like the quick movement from hot to cold in an ice bath. It halts the cooking process instantly at the exact doneness point that I'm looking for. So for asparagus, which is super tender, I don't want it to overcook. I want it to retain some toothsome feeling. The other thing that's really cool about shocking in an ice bath is the vibrancy of the color green. I don't know what it is, but it just pops. As soon as we put this asparagus from the boiling water to the ice bath, they will turn even more green than they are in this bunch raw. First, into the pot of boiling salted water. I'm gonna leave this asparagus to boil for a minute or two, just until it's tender but still has a nice bite to it. So I don't want it completely soft. Just stirring it to just get it settled, like to make sure it's all fully submerged. Okay, let's just taste one, I think. See how it's tender? Moves. Still has a good bite, definitely time. Okay, turn this off, pull my pot close, and that's gonna cool them down. Look how green this is. It's the perfect texture. It's like soft and also has a little crunch. Blanching is about beauty for sure. Oh, one more. So at this point, I can just set these aside until I'm ready to serve them. You can also cover it with damp paper towels, stick it in your refrigerator for another day. Now it's time to prep the artichoke. I love artichokes. As a little girl, my mom used to cook them a lot. I remember learning from her what to look for when buying an artichoke in the store. You want this to be tightly closed. If the leaves are starting to open up, it's probably not any good. So this one looks great. This idea behind prepping an artichoke is about eliminating the tough, kind of woody parts of the artichoke and also getting rid of these spiky ends. So the first step is to cut the top off. About an inch or two down from the top. This takes some effort. Great. These little leaves, just pull off the ones at the bottom. They're tougher, basically eliminating all the ones that were kind of loose and separate from the rest. Then the outside, this stem is delicious. The artichoke heart is delicious, but the bottom and the outside is really tough. So I'm gonna trim the bottom off about a ½ an inch up. So it no longer looks dry like that. It looks nice and fresh and green. Then I'm gonna peel outside of the stem. That looks great. Finally, the last step is to trim the tops of the leaves that are left. And that just is because they're pokey. Trim those flat. Okay, great. That's ready. I'm gonna pop this in the boiling water. I save the same water from boiling the asparagus. I love to reuse a pot of boiling salted water if I'm cooking the same day. I'm gonna add 1 extra tablespoon of salt and then a little bit of garlic. I'm gonna cut the top off of this. And some lemon slices. And now I'm gonna put the artichoke in the boiling water. Asparagus and artichokes are 2 totally different vegetables. Asparagus is delicate and tender. It only takes a minute or 2 to boil. The artichoke is big and dense. It's gonna boil for about 40 minutes. It's been about 40 minutes, so I'm gonna check on the artichoke. Let's see. I'm gonna take it out so I can show you how to tell if it's done a little easier. So basically, it's done if you pull on the leaves. See how easily that just pulled off and shredded? Super tender and easy. That is the yummy part. I take a fork, stick it in this, see how easy that is? I mean, no resistance at all. Definitely ready, for sure. It's time to make the Hollandaise. Hollandaise sauce is an emulsion of egg yolk, butter, and lemon juice. And it's really great served with vegetables because it's both buttery and bright. And that like buttery brightness like makes whatever you are dipping it into or pouring it over incredible. I'm gonna start by melting the butter. ½ a cup of butter, or 1 stick. Bring that up so that it's starting to melt. I need 3 egg yolks. I am using a blender to show you a quick version of making hollandaise. Traditional hollandaise would be made over a double boiler, so hot water in the bottom of a bowl, mixing, whisking the eggs while slowly adding the butter. It's very manual work, but the goal of that is to create an emulsion. It's when 2 things that don't want to mix together are kind of forced into unison. The fast method is to use a blender. This is the technique that actually makes making hollandaise easy and even a weeknight thing if you want. Let's get the eggs in the canister. I have a ½ teaspoon of lemon juice and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now, with the blender running, the butter is all melted. I'm gonna slowly add the butter into the eggs. And that's going to, by adding the hot butter, it's gonna both kind of cook the eggs and make the emulsion all at the same time. To make an emulsion, the important thing is to add it just a little bit at a time. In a slow stream. There we go, let's take a look. Look at that. It's like velvety, smooth. You know what? I think it needs a little bit more lemon juice. Look at that. That looks. Not all lemons are created equal, so sometimes you gotta adjust to the right taste. This Hollandaise looks incredible. Look at that like lemony yellow color and the kind of slightly thickened texture. That's what happens when those eggs get whipped and the emulsion with the butter and lemon juice. So the way I love eating artichokes is you just like peel off the leaves, dip the bottom in the Hollandaise. That's some pro artichoke leaf eating. So for those of you who maybe haven't eaten an artichoke, I'm using my bottom teeth on the inside of the artichoke leaf to scrape that deliciousness out. You can serve this as an appetizer, as a side dish. Really, they're huge. You serve one a person, and they're so fun and delicious. And then you just keep going like that until you get to the artichoke heart. As they get down, they get even more tender. And when I get here, I would like, as a kid, I would just like take these, like dunk them in, you know what I mean? And then like do this. In the very center, there's these super thin, kind of translucent leaves. And underneath that is the choke of the artichoke. Need to remove those in order to enjoy the artichoke heart. So just take a spoon, dig at that part to scoop out the choke. When I was a little kid, I would just love this moment of getting to the artichoke heart. I would take it and put it down on my plate and cut it into quarters. And then I would have like sauce, Hollandaise, or that yogurt lemon sauce my mom used to make on the plate and pretend that this was like a vacuum cleaner and like vacuum the sauce up on my plate. Anyway, it's really tender and delicious. It's the best part. I'm just gonna dunk it. This Hollandaise sauce is so delicious. It's going to pair perfectly with that delicate, tender asparagus. So let's get that plated up. I'm just gonna take a few of these. We're gonna go with copious amounts of Hollandaise here. This feels so decadent and special, and I love the fact that this sauce literally takes like 10 seconds to make. That is delicious. Today, we have gone over how to blanch tender, delicate asparagus, how to boil hearty, dense artichokes, and how to make a luxurious, rich, dreamy Hollandaise sauce in minutes. This is all about using fresh and seasonal vegetables and turning them into something beautiful and decadent.